Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
The ALCS and the NLCS, well, they're set. They would have to be because the ALCS begins tonight. What day is it? It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Right. Game 1 of the ALCS between the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think Jayhay made the point. I feel like it's been building to this. These two teams, it's been building to this. And then in the National League, I feel like it's been building to that. No? Like, did we get the 2 championship series that I think we thought we were going to get, at least by the time, like, not in spring training, no. But I think once we were 100 games into the season and we were like, all right, the Blue Jays are this good, the Mariners are this good, okay, the Dodgers are the Dodgers, and the Brewers are for real. Like, so the Brewers are a team that could go to the World Series this year. I think the LCS are pretty much what we would have handpicked, maybe.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments though during the season where the NL West was up for grabs, the AL West was up for grabs, so we weren't quite sure what those divisions were going to look like, how they were going to shake out. But ultimately, I think at the beginning of the season and through, whether you want to call it the 100-game mark or whatever, but there was a point in time where we saw, all right, looks like the Mariners are going to be able to sustain what we're seeing from the staff. It looks like what we are seeing from the Brewers in terms of their execution, their separation, what their offense looks like. It just looks head and shoulders above what everybody else is doing. I think for the most part, to get the other two teams on the other side of those coins, this is exactly what we wanted. What we wanted.
The ALCS feels like the dream matchup that everybody, when posed the question of who do you want to see play in the ALCS, a lot of people responded Mariners, Blue Jays, right? Because of all the historical baggage and breakthrough potential that is on the NL side. That's the side to me that feels like a fait accompli, where it's like these are the two best teams. The Brewers proved it all season. The Dodgers have the roster that we know about, and the cream really rose to the top there. I think it just took the whole season for people to come along on the AL side to a degree, because I think the Blue Jays, the D-backs made that miraculous run. I think the Blue Jays and Mariners have proven over the duration of the season that they were the best teams in the AL, and that's why they're here.
And there was some missing offense, I think, from Seattle at times, which caused the questions, and I think people, rightfully so, were wondering, well, what are they going to do to fix that? What are they going to do to change that? How can they change that, right? Well, you plug in Naylor, you plug in Eugenio, and I think from a Toronto perspective, it's, hey, we've got an incredible lineup. Are we going to be healthy at the same time? And is our pitching staff going to be able to, is our bullpen mainly going to be able to keep us afloat and keep some of these tight games in our favor?
I think for the ALCS, Jayhay touched on it a little bit. It's very cool that we will either see a team go to the World Series for the first time since 1993 or a team go to the World Series for the first time ever. That's very cool. With the Blue Jays, it's like, I was alive in 1993. I don't fucking remember. Like, I wasn't watching that. I was probably watching cartoons. Like, I was asleep because I was 4. I was definitely not locked in on World Series baseball. So to see either one of those teams out of the American League, that will be very cool. I'm excited for that. And then I think just, the NLCS will be a little bit of a dogfight. It'll be one of those series where, you have 2 heavyweights going head to head, and it's almost like maybe the Dodgers are a little bit of a, they're not as dauntingly scary as, if I told you back in spring training that it was going to be Dodgers Brewers, you'd be like, oh, fuck, Brewers have no shot. But I mean, the Dodgers are not like, yes, they're very good. They're very talented, but they hit like 196 in the division
199,
series?
Jared. They were
199
the worst,
with like a 5-something OPS.
They were the worst performing offense out of the division series teams.
Yeah, like they can be had. They can be had.
2 homers. 2 homers.
Yeah. So we'll get to that. Just like you guys are going to get to the Underdog Fantasy app for this LCS on both sides. We're going to be putting out picks. Dallas Braden. Why don't you put out picks, Jayhay?
There's no way to answer that other than I haven't been asked to do it.
I'm asking you.
All right. All right. Well, yeah. All right. I'll take action on that. We'll see what we can do. Yep.
Yeah. Be like, hey, all three of us are going to put out picks for the LCS.
And you can't get Jared in Dallas unless you take mine.
Right. But I feel like people would take yours the most. Like, no one's going to take Dallas's. We get that. Mine win all the time. That gets boring. But people are going to be like, well, how did Jayhay's picks do?
The most delusional guy on the planet. Here's my cupcakes.
They're called winners. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. Okay. Let's start with the ALCS. We have to. This is just obvious. Like, I don't think there's a person on this panel that's not going with the Blue Jays lineup.
No. Nope.
I will. I think it's more of just a toss up, to be honest. I think between these two teams, I think a lot of the shortcomings of the Mariners lineup was overshadowed by the park that they. By the park that they play in. I think these are similarly talented offenses. Yes, I do.
So listen to this. I kind of broke up these teams and some of their top performers in the NLDS or in the division series, and then some of the other players collectively into two groups and kind of look at their performances. So to start with the Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh led the charge offensively. That is what it is in the division series. But if you take Cal Raleigh, Crawford, and Naylor and Polanco, and you put them together in their own group, collectively it was 271 with a 330 on base, 447 slug. Okay, 4 homers, 3 doubles, 9 RBI between that group. Everybody else hit 152 with a 261 on base and a 253 slug. 2 homers, 8 RBI. Not great. Not great.
No, and I think we've had the conversation before about the Blue Jays offense, especially in the division series. We're talking about 3 guys. Like
no, Jared.
Like,
listen. This is where it's different here. All right, because this group right now that I'm getting ready to tell you about might be different than any other secondary group outside of their key performers. So for the Jays, it was Vlad, Ernie Clement, and Dalton Varsho, right? Collectively, 532 was their average, 547 OBP. They slugged 1,000, those 3. Okay? 6 homers, 18 RBI. They punched out 4 times only between those 3. 3 walks. Everybody else, almost 250. Everybody else hit 248, 287 OBP, 416 slug. And so when you think about that, that's also including a combined 2 for 16 between Santander and Kiner Falefa. So you remove that group looks just all the better as well. So in terms of like supporting cast, it feels like the Blue Jays from top to bottom have been swinging the bat, have been getting the job done. Timely hitting, power, extra base hits. They've been doing it all.
So here's why I said that I think the Mariners offense it's basically a toss-up. Mariners offense, we had the whole regular season to watch these teams play. The Mariners weighted runs created offensively was 3rd in baseball. They were the 3rd best offense by weighted runs created in baseball. Blue Jays was 4th. So that to me, there is no real differentiating over the long haul. Why I'm a little hesitant to put too much stock into what they did in the division series, particularly from the Mariners' negative side, is that because I think most of the Blue Jays stuff transfers to the next round. The Mariners had to see Tarek Skubal twice. They saw 13 innings of Tarek Skubal and posted a 2.08 ERA. I know they have had more success wins and losses wise against Skubal than most teams, but to see Tarek Skubal in 40% of all games that you played in the series, and for him to face 47 batters, that to me is going to skew the numbers a little bit and suggest that that was a very difficult task that the Mariners just went through. And I think their offense overall, we don't need to get bogged down in this, but I would just say I have as much confidence in the Mariners offense as I do the Blue Jays moving forward.
Yeah, can you give me names it's outside of Cal Raleigh? Like, who are you confident in offensively in the Mariners lineup where it's like I know Polanco had a nice series. He ended up having like the walk-off hit. JP Crawford is yet to show me something.
I think Randy Arozarena is a very good baseball player. I think Julio Rodriguez has not come through in individual moments that we've all been sitting and watching in great detail. So they're seared into our brains. But I don't like, if you go up and down the Blue Jays roster, it's not like outside of Vlad Jr. and George Springer that it's a lot of guys who have massive long track records. I know Ernie Clement was awesome in the last round. Is Ernie Clement the best fucking baseball player that we've ever seen in our lives? No, I don't think so. Like, I think
but he's part of the depth. He's part of the depth. Though, Jalen, Mariners.
But Josh Naylor, Jorge Polanco, Randy Arozarena, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh. I just named 6 players that are good offensive players, above average offensive players at the positions that they play.
Here you go. The Mariners have one player with 10 plus at bats in the division series. And again, I get your Scooble caveat. They have one player with 10 plus at bats in the division series hitting over 300. One. And it's Cal Raleigh. One. Okay. The Blue Jays have 3 hitting over 400.
But that's not going to sustain. None of that matters.
What do you mean it's not going to sustain? It's not about sustaining. You're just drawing lines, and I'm drawing lines as well. You're talking about depth. I showed you the depth, and the depth is night and day different between the two groups, between the Blue Jays and what the Mariners did.
It's not because it's not. If you're using only division,
you're the numbers guy. You want a group hitting 248. You want a group hitting 152.
That's in the division series. That's in the division series. I have.
Well, I'm talking about recent, like the recency. That's what matters right now.
That doesn't mean that they don't have depth. The Mariners don't not have depth in their offense because their division series.
They don't have depth. I just outlined the performance of the depth.
I understand they didn't play well offensively. I'm not saying that they did. I'm saying what is their quality of offense moving forward. I'm not disputing what the numbers were in the DS. They were bad, but they got through anyway. And so it's about, what did they do up until then, and what can they be expected to do moving forward? And I think these are both imperfect offenses, but I think they're of similar quality. And I think the Mariners have the best individual player going offensively, and I don't think that's all that controversial.
Well, the Mariners, and that's when the pitching side of things comes into play. The bullpen, that's the difference too. I mean, something to keep an eye on for the Mariners though is not only the usage, but you've got three of their absolute animals who have been, I mean, they've been ridden, right? They have been worn. Now, I don't want to say worn out. I'm not going to go there yet, but they have been asked to do a lot in Bizardo and Munoz and
Bizardo pitched in every fucking game.
Spire.
Every game.
Yeah. Well, and they also, Jared, posted their longest outings of the season. Each one of those guys posted their longest outings of the season in that series.
And that's part of what makes that battle so interesting, right? Between the respective bullpens, if we're doing the grouping comparisons, is that I think on paper, talent-wise, you would take the Mariners bullpen, but the Blue Jays bullpen has 3 days of rest. You know what I mean? And the Mariners bullpen has just went through what Dallas outlined, where it's been incredible. We can use whatever word. It's been very taxed, and like that levels the playing field.
23 2/3 innings, second most in the division series behind Detroit's bullpen. And it was, Munoz, Brash, and Bizardo who all had the longest outings of their career. Not even the season, longest outings of their career in this series.
And that stuff that you're talking about, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the Mariners bullpen has thrown 7 more innings than the Blue Jays bullpen in this postseason.
Yeah, and remember, Miller is starting on 3 days rest. It is after he did get through 4 1/3 innings on 55 pitches, but that is 3 days rest. And we're talking about a bullpen that has been asked to show up in post. So if they can continue to do it, if they can sustain, then look out. This is the kind of shit, like if you can get this over the next, what do they need? They need 8 wins. They need 8 wins to call this thing a done deal. If they can win 8 ball games and continue to roll out this type of performance, they're fine. But if they're going to stumble at all at the most important part of the season because of some of the usage things that we've talked about here, that could very well be where you start to see some cracks.
Well, and that bullpen usage trickled into the starting rotation too, right? So another
Gilbert
or like the overtaxing, having in Castillo and all that sort of stuff. Like you had to, that's part of what makes this such a great ALCS on paper for me, is that the advantages that you would identify in the Mariners' favor have been, I think, condensed or shrunken a little bit because of what they had to endure to get through the Tigers. And like Brian Woo's exact status and, what Logan Gilbert has looked like since coming back from injury, which is, I think, a little bit more of like a 2-3-ish in terms of dominance than the guy he was before he went down, which you still want, obviously. But I just think there's so much here.
It's gonna be a great series.
Yes, I'm fucking pumped for it.
I think it's gonna be an outstanding series. The Blue Jays bullpen, they haven't had to use it nearly as much, but has not been super great. 6.30 ERA in the postseason for the Jays bullpen. Only one blown save, but it's 24 hits in 20 innings. And the FIP is 5.67. The WHIP is 1.75. Like there's traffic, there's damage. It's not good. Outside of what, Sir Anthony Dominguez, it's not been pretty.
And in terms of the Blue Jays rotation, like this is down the line, and maybe we'll do another pod or two before then or not. I guess we'll see. But the Blue Jays back end of the rotation element too, I think is if we're identifying X factors or swing moments or games or decisions, like who ends up getting the ball for Game 4 for the Blue Jays, to me is like one of the most massive decisions or moments of the game or the series, because I guess that's going to be Scherzer or Bassett. And
both on the roster.
Both on the roster. Scherzer has gotten hit extremely hard for the most part down the stretch. And, you give him the ball in that game, we could be watching Max Scherzer's potentially his last start as a Major League Baseball player. And there's nobody whose mentality in that sort of situation I would want to see try to overcome what his physical talents maybe can't still deliver for him. But that to me is that's a red flag for the Blue Jays side from the rotation, even though more or less everybody else that's participating is ready to go.
From the starting pitching side in this series, the Blue Jay starters have pitched really well. It has been 4 starts for their staff. They're not going deep, obviously. They're not even averaging 4 innings per start, but it's a 1.80 ERA. It's a 0.93 WHIP, and it's a 10.8 strikeouts per 9. That's where the Blue Jays bullpen being asked could come back to bite them, is because the starters have been good enough when they're out there, but they're not out there for very long. The Mariners starters, they have made 5 starts. It has been 25 innings, 18 hits, only 6 earned runs. It's a 2.16 ERA, 2.45 FIP, 0.92 WHIP, and a 9.36 strikeouts per 9. They are averaging 5 innings per start. So that is about what you would expect going into this. Like the Mariners' greatest strength is, outside of Cal Raleigh being the MVP 60 home run slugger, their starting rotation. So I guess, it stacks up well against each other, even though, Blue Jay starters have limited any type of run scoring. I think we're still all leaning Mariners rotation here, especially, we're talking names. We're not just talking postseason numbers here. We're talking all time back of the baseball card. You're going with the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah. I'm like, as far as the pitching goes, I'm leaning Seattle. As far as the offense goes, I think I'm leaning Toronto.
Yeah, I feel like a broken record almost, but I do feel like that the Blue Jays starting pitching is maybe a little closer to what the Mariners is than I would have envisioned at the start of the season, or maybe even at the start of the postseason. Like I think with Gausman, Bieber, and then Yasavage breaking out in the way that he did, and obviously his next start after that Yankees start is going to be appointment television, but it does feel like those front 3 are closer to what the Mariners are bringing than I ever would have guessed at points this season, given the Mariners pedigree and that kind of stuff. But yes, I would still.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing, man. Yasevich has made 3 starts, right? Or 4 total this season.
Yeah. Yes.
What do you mean? Right? How many make in the regular season? 4?
He made
3 or 4?
He made 3 in the regular season.
So 4 total starts.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is a kid who's made 4 total starts in the big leagues. His next start from here on out will be his biggest start of his life, right? So every start he makes from this moment on through the rest of this season will be the big start of his life. Should that not work out well early, well, then that bullpen issue becomes a bigger issue because now it's riding one of the aforementioned, is it Bassett or Scherzer? Who's going to make the start for us? Well, we're going to the other guy. That guy's going to have to wear it now. And again, this is a hypothetical should things not work out for Yusevich. So that's just always something to be aware of. A guy who's made 4 big league starts, getting ready to make his 5th big league start in the ALCS. Yeah, that's just something to consider. I would love nothing more than for him to go out there and just fucking from behind his ear, just fucking split and fucking. I would, give it all to me. That'd be great to watch.
He can do it. How much of a factor would the long ball play in this series? The Blue Jays have the highest home run percentage of any team in the postseason. The Mariners are middle of the pack, but tied with actually the Dodgers for home run percentage. How much of a factor with the long ball? We saw it last night in Game 5 between the Cubs and the Brewers. The long ball was the only factor.
Well, I mean, between these two teams, you've got the Blue Jays who hit 4. You got the Mariners who hit 4, right, throughout the series. Or is that
yeah,
right?
I mean, like total postseason, the Mariners have 6, the Blue Jays have 9.
No, I was looking at the sorry, I was looking at against starters. Yeah, Blue Jays 9, Mariners 6 homers. I mean, I don't think that I could safely pick the Blue Jays and then tell you that the home run's not really going to matter.
Yeah.
I think the home run's going to mean everything. I think the homer is going to mean everything because if we're talking about the starting matchups, and Jayhay just said that he feels decently confident in what the Jays are rolling out there, maybe more so today than we did or have at any point this year, then I think we could also understand that it might just be one big swing that makes the difference here. And if there's a couple guys on base, that swing's going to have to go over the wall, boys. And if it does, then the homer means everything. And you've got guys all up and down each one of these lineups that have more than enough power to change the game with one fucking swing. So when you take you take a team in the Jays who tied for the most homers in the postseason up to this point, and then you plug in the Seattle Mariners who have the guy who hit more homers than fucking anybody. Yeah, it's going to mean something.
Quick little nugs here to answer the question, Jared, if you don't mind.
Sure.
This season, teams who have out-homered opponents are 16-4, so that's an 80% win rate. Since 2018, they have won at over an 83% clip. And during the 2025 regular season, no team had a higher winning percentage when they out-homered opponents than the Toronto Blue Jays, who won at a 91.5% clip when out-homering opponents during the regular season. League average was 76.5%.
Wow.
What was the other question that I had?
Jesus.
Oh,
other teams win 3 out of 4. Blue Jays win 3.9 of those games.
Yeah, they win 9 out of every 10.
Good God.
How much do you envision home field being a factor in this series? The fact that we're going to be playing the first 2 in Toronto.
It's gonna matter. You know who I think has the advantage here, and I hate to say that it's even clear cut, but I guess I have to wait to see what the Mariners do in terms of like. Are the Mariners fans traveling north and ascending upon the 6 the way that the 6 descends upon Seattle? That's the question. Are Mariners fans traveling to the Great White North the way that we see Blue Jays fans travel down to Seattle? Because if so,
I'd like to think yes. I just don't know them to be a traveling fan base.
So then I think you have to. I think you have to say, whether you want to say it or not, Jared. You know which way this pendulum swings.
Well, yeah, we know the Jays fans are coming. They will be descending upon
coming.
Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm a big TikTok guy. I like to watch TikTok. I don't post much, but I like to watch them. And I've seen so many Seattle Mariner fan reaction videos where it's either fans that were in the ballpark or fans that were watching at home, just tears. Like I feel like out of all the fan bases to advance to the LCS, it means the most to Mariner fans.
So show up, get your passports
out. That's what
out.
I'm saying.
Let's go.
Is like, well, now the stakes are very high. So I would say get your ass to Toronto and make that place, not as uncomfy as it can be, as we all know it can be. It's not a fun place to play as an opposing player in the postseason.
I want to see that. I want to see them rally. I want to see them get together. I want to see them make a push, create a presence, be there. Because I think that will help. Even if you're just the Spartans, right? Just 300 of you losing your shit in a small little area somewhere where like, just do that. Be that. Give the boys that so that when they come home, because I'm telling you right now, man, the worst thing that could happen is they feel that energy up north and then they come home and they're like, well, where are our fans?
This is like a side note. I hope the players appreciate stuff like that. Like, I know it's the playoffs. I know you guys are locked in, but I just remember, for example, I want to say it was the ALCS in 21 and in 18. Like there was, like you were saying, Dallas, like maybe 300 Astros fans just bought tickets around the Astros dugout. And I highly doubt they had the link to get those tickets at face value. So I'm sure it was just like, all right, like, let's go on all the secondary ticket websites and let's buy tickets around the Astros dugout so that when they come back into the dugout after a home run, they feel celebrated and, they have a little piece of Houston there. Like, I don't know that players, it's just occurring to me 4 years later, that fans thought to do that as a means to, like, we can't play the games, but can we impact it in some way? And to do that, you're asking the average American family for flight, hotel, and tickets that are 5x face value to sit in really good seats that are by the dugout. Like, that's an investment to help the player. I just hope that players, I highly doubt that they are calculating all that and appreciating it and taking it in real time.
No,
but
they're not doing that math. They're not worried about like, oh my God, did it just cost the Johnsons $3,800 to get here? Like, holy shit, we have got to someone get the butt down. But
there's a difference between I'm buying tickets directly behind home plate so that I can show up on TV versus like I'm buying tickets directly behind the dugout to bring you a little piece of Houston, some comfort while you guys are in a tumultuous situation. So
not everybody has Mattress Mac willing to foot the bill for. And I'm not saying that that's what happened, but yeah, it would be nice because I think a lot of Mariners fans are going to be like, buddy, we're just happy to be in the building. Okay. Like I was here when I was a wee Litlin. Now I got wee Litlins and I want them to experience it together. And the best we can do is section 319. Okay. So get off my ass. Sorry, I can't give their high fives. Like it just, my bad.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying Mariners fans should do that, but when you started talking about getting like 300 all in the same area, it's like, well, I highly doubt they're going to be able to do that at face value.
No, they're not going to be able to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be nice to see.
Sure would. Predictions for the ALCS, Dallas?
Oh, I battled over this because I have to say it this way. I believe the Blue Jays become just too much. I believe they overwhelm the Mariners. And I believe they do that in 6 games. Do I want the Mariners to win the whole damn thing? Yes, I do. Yes, I absolutely do. which is why I'm going with the Seattle fucking Mariners.
What
Pitching
the
got him here. Pitching's going to take him to the fucking promised land. Cal Raleigh, your AL MVP, is going to get the rest of the boys fired up. They will find a way to generate enough fucking offense to get their ass to the World Series. The surging seamen will rise, Jared.
You know that he just changed his mind as he was talking, right? Like, yeah.
Yep, guy was all spent the whole, he was like getting mad arguing with me on behalf of the Blue Jays like 5 minutes ago, and now he's going for the Mariners.
He is just, I mean, there's a whole lot. Like, never before has there ever been like so much and nothing at all happening in a brain.
I'm doing
it's just, yeah. So you've got the Mariners in 6?
It's going to have to go that way. No, you know what? Yeah, Mariners in 6.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. Mariners in 6 is the pick from Dallas Braden.
I know I'm the only one here.
Justin Havens, the pick.
Well, you know, I think the Mariners might have the slight edge in the rotation. I feel like they might have the slight edge in the bullpen, and I feel like the offenses they're pretty even. You know, I really like everything about Seattle more than I like Toronto, which is why I'm going to go with the men north of the border in the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wow.
Take it in 7.
7.
That's right. They're going to do it in Toronto.
Wow. Okay.
A walk-off to send them to the World Series for the first time since 1993.
Damn.
Because they just become too much for the Seattle Mariners. They become too much.
Yeah, so like my gut is telling me Blue Jays in 5. I don't want to disrespect the Mariners like that. I don't want to do that. Because if I throw out a Blue Jays in 5, then I think Mariners fans are going to be like, so you think we suck? Like, and I don't. I don't think that the Mariners suck. I do think that a little Game 5 hangover might be an issue. Having to use the bullpen that they did, the energy that they had to put forth, the travel arrangements that I think got fucked up because of that. Not making excuses for them. I'm just giving you factors, human elements, why I think they might get punched in the mouth early, especially in front of an energized Blue Jays crowd up in Toronto. And they're coming down from an adrenaline dump, whereas the Blue Jays are working their ways up with it. Yeah, I think the series starts off 2-0 Toronto. I think the Mariners win game 3 and 5, and then the Blue Jays finish it in 6 at home.
I do think that
I have no problem riding solo here. Look, I as you guys correctly identified, I believe that the Blue Jays are going to be just too much, but I can't abandon my Mariner pick from before the season. So I'm riding with the Seaman, but I that's why honestly, it's the Blue Jays offense that took me down the rabbit hole of looking at just teams in kind of 2 different groups. And that's when I was like, oh man, I just don't know that this depth of this Blue Jays team is going to be stifled enough.
Well, all right, those are the picks. And to help us with breaking down the National League Championship Series, at least from the Dodgers side, between the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers, we have Jayhay Hairston Jr. on the podcast. All right, welcome back, Jayhay Hairston Jr., who apparently we haven't spoken to on this podcast in 4 years. That is news to me. I did not realize it had been that long. I think it is far too long, especially for how relevant the Los Angeles Dodgers are, with Jerry doing the pre and post for the Dodgers over there. I want to say welcome back, but I feel like I should say I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jerry, that it's been this long. This is inexcusable.
It's okay. Listen, I know you guys are extremely busy. You got a lot to cover in the baseball world. You guys do an incredible job. I follow you guys on the Twitter or the X, I guess we have to say. But listen, sometimes time flies, it gets away from us, but it's good to be back.
It's great to have you back. I want to throw a working theory at you that I've had going all season long, because I think in spring training, a lot of people looked at this Dodger team. We were at spring training camp with the Dodgers back in March or whatever it was. And they were walking around like it was Beatlemania. They, like, if you just had a Dodger t-shirt on and you walked out of the clubhouse, there was a crowd of 600, 700 people just screaming no matter who you were. I think the anticipation and the expectation was that the Dodgers were going to challenge the Seattle Mariners for the single season win record. The season didn't play out that way. I think the first thing you can point to is obviously the injuries. But is there anything to, like, the Dodgers maybe conserving their energy, knowing like we're going to get in and we have all the talent in the world. So if we just get in, we can flip that switch once we get there, instead of, trying to win 120 regular season games. Like, it doesn't help us much beyond just where we're seated, but where we're seated shouldn't matter. Like, we're better than every team. We'll beat anybody.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, they feel that they're confident when they are healthy. Now, you mentioned, obviously, the Dodgers trying to challenge the Mariners at the start of the season. And you kind of said it right there. The Dodgers really, from the start, were injured, from the starting staff. So Blake Snell really missed the first half. Tyler Glasnow missed a lot of games. Our bullpen has been really hit with injuries. And we've been trying to piece together that bullpen throughout the whole year. So, and Dallas, you know this, Justin, as well. When you don't have pitching that is healthy, it's going to be a struggle. Now, the offense really carried us most of the season, but when you're injured, in the pitching department, especially from the starters, and you rely so much on the bullpen early on, then your bullpen gets taxed. And then around July, August, that's when we kind of struggle a little bit because our bullpen was taxed. So when healthy, coming into the season, the Dodgers felt that they could, maybe win 100, 115, maybe challenge the Mariners. But the most important thing is getting healthy for the postseason and playing your best baseball heading into the postseason. And fortunately for the Dodgers, they were relatively healthy, especially from the starting staff, and playing good baseball leading up to the postseason. And now they're firing on all cylinders. They just beat an incredible Philadelphia Phillies team. The Phillies don't get enough love, man. They got an incredible lineup, really stud starting pitching, and a great bullpen. And the Dodgers were very fortunate to survive that series and now take on a really good Brewers team.
I want to ask you about sort of about that health and maybe the role that some guys are going to play, and if they're going to be playing a role at all. And I think one of those questions starts with Clayton Kershaw, because Clayton Kershaw has been fantastic, was otherworldly when you think about, I think, expectation and actual production, comparatively speaking, for the regular season. It was fantastic. It was a great ride for the left-hander. We did see him in a short burst in the postseason, and well, maybe it wasn't quite what you like to see. I know it brought some memories back, but we've also seen Roki Sasaki emerge in the role that he has emerged in, Jerry. And that was something that I honestly was salivating over. When I think I watched 2-3 pitches come out of his hand and was like, Jayhay, buddy, this could be a problem for the opponent. And so when you think about those two guys, the overall health, is it the depth for the Dodgers that has allowed them to get this far? And now that we're here, what role do you see these two guys specifically playing in this championship series?
Well, to answer the Clayton Kershaw, I have a feeling he will be on this roster in the NLCS. And if you go back and look at his outing against the Phillies, that very first inning that he came out of that bullpen, he got outs. Mm-hmm. Okay, he got outs. And that's all we were really looking for. Give us an inning, maybe two if needed. And the Dodgers were behind when he took the hill. And then the only reason why he went back to second inning, we know now, is Tanner Scott was unavailable. Right. Something happened, and that he had to have an emergency procedure that night, and he was unavailable. So that's why we ran Clayton Kershaw back out there in that second inning. And because we were down, we allowed him to, for lack of a better term, kind of wear it a little bit.
Yep.
Clayton Kershaw, listen, he's probably the most humble superstar I've ever been around. All he wants to do is be a part of this team and help this team win. So him eating up those innings, those 2 innings, allowed us to go out there and win the next game and win the series. So I anticipate Clayton Kershaw to be on this roster. And then when he comes out of the bullpen, he'll give us that solid inning. Now to Roki Sasaki. Dallas, and you all know this. Hitters will let you know when a pitcher is nasty and when a pitcher is hanging his pitches or missing spots and, grooving that fastball. Hitters are going to let you know. The reaction that I saw from big league hitters when Roki Sasaki came out of that bullpen, this is, late in the regular season, I instantly said, that's our dude. That's our dude.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fake it. Maybe I faked my career for 16 years. I was able to fool a lot of people. But you can't fake a guy that's nasty. Right away. And when we saw him pitch an inning out of the bullpen and then the next outing, I knew instantly he's our closer. Without question. And then he comes out in Philadelphia in a hostile environment, in a jam. I mean, an absolute jam, and was able to get Trey Turner on 2 pitches. That's our dude. And for him to pitch those 3 innings, that last game, to help us win the series, he is that dude. So he is the closer moving forward. There is no doubt about it. The players know it. The Dodgers know it. The Dodger fan base know it. Really, the whole baseball world knows that Roki Sasaki is that dude. He is the Dodgers closer.
I want to ask you about the Dodgers shortstop, because in spring training, he had gotten sick and lost a bunch of weight. And this is a dude that does not have weight to lose in the first place. And it was not your prototypical Mookie Betts season from an offensive standpoint. It was quite a bit of a down year. But I think my estimation is that it took him all of the regular season to get back to where he would have been in spring training. Like, of course, you're going to lose weight over the course of the regular season, but he's not built that way to be able to just pack on pounds quickly. So now, we're looking at a series where he had an OPS over 1,000 in the division series against the Phillies. And he was basically the guy, like, offensively for the Dodgers. Like, Shohei didn't have a great series. Freddie Freeman didn't have a great series. How important is Mookie to this Dodger team, knowing that he can turn it on offensively now that he's put the weight back on, and B, I guess, like, how underappreciated his defense is, because even though he had a down year offensively, like, the wins above replacement this year was still like star level because of the defense that he played at shortstop.
Well, to address him being that shortstop in his defense, I saw him play last year, and really he was ambushed to play that shortstop position because of certain injuries. And that is tough to do really in any position, let alone shortstop. Was probably the most demanding position to play. Now, physically, the most demanding position is catcher. Obviously the wear and tear on your body, you got to make sure all the pitchers are on the same page. But as far as athletically, the most demanding position is shortstop. I've gotten a chance to play just about every position on the field, and shortstop is probably the most toughest because you really have to be sure-handed and have an accurate, strong throwing arm. But for him to have an entire offseason, and I got a chance to see him right before spring training at our facility because I do the Dodgers fantasy camp, and I saw him work for 2 days. We're talking, and I was like, he's a completely different player at shortstop. I go, bro, you look amazing at shortstop. And I knew that he was going to be successfully at defense at the shortstop position because he's made leaps and bounds progress. Then he gets sick, loses about 15 to 20 pounds. He can't afford to lose 5-10 pounds. He's about 180, 185 pounds. He's pound for pound probably the strongest player in baseball. But when you lose all that weight at the beginning of the season, because you're going to lose some weight because it's a long grind, me and Nomar Garciaparra were talking about, God, I hope they put him on the IL. He misses 2 or 3 weeks, gains that weight back, and then can hit the ground running. Mookie, because he's so great and he's so tough-willed, he's stubborn, I'm playing no matter what. Now, I really believe he's never going to use this as an excuse, that did have an effect on him because of that demand of that position, playing shortstop and playing every single day. He couldn't get that weight back quickly. So he was playing catch up all season long. And now that I really believe he's strong, he's back to his weight, he has really hit the ground running, and he has been outstanding offensively. And this second half, I really believe probably you can make a case for Swanson as the best defensive shortstop, in baseball, but it would not shock me if Mookie Betts wins a Gold Glove at shortstop, because he has been incredible at shortstop, man. He's not an athlete playing shortstop. He's a shortstop now. And for him to be that skilled at that position, and we all know that he's the best defensive right fielder in the game. Now he is an elite defender at shortstop. All the metrics say so. I mean, it's just upsetting to me because I'm a little jealous of Mookie. I mean, there's nothing he can do. He could, if you tell him, hey, run point guard for the Lakers right now, he could do it. Hey, you know what? The Rams need a wide receiver. We're going to put you at slot receiver. He could do that. That's how great of an athlete he is. Oh, by the way, I've seen him hit a drive 355 yards on the golf course. So he's an incredible athlete.
Yeah, and a 300 bowler, as we all know.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about, because Jerry, there is no denying it, there's no sugarcoating it. The offense sucked in the division series. It was terrible. You hit under 200 as a group. You had 2 homers to show for the entire team. What needs to happen, and who is it going to be that reveals themselves not named Shohei Ohtani? Because we can hit on the numbers for Shohei Ohtani. Hit is something he just simply did not do, right? 1 for 18 over the series. It was abysmal. And I don't know that there was many necessarily bright spots to speak of outside of some timely hits. So if it's not going to be Ohtani, and let's just say he reverts back to being himself, and we know what we can expect, or would like to think we can expect, from the 3 MVPs. Out of a third of that lineup, who's somebody that we can look to that can, I think, maybe surprise some folks in terms of what they can do over this series to help the Dodgers climb out of the offensive hole?
Well, Dallas, I mean, obviously you're very truthful in that statement, very candid in that statement. You know who also was truthful in their statements? The Dodgers. Kike Hernandez said it himself. We absolutely sucked swinging the bat. And I said it earlier, we were extremely fortunate to get out of that series against the Phillies. But you got to give the Phillies credit, man. You run out there Luzardo, you run out there Sanchez, Ranger Suarez. Those guys are monsters, man. I'm looking as a hitter. I'm like, okay, when are they going to make a mistake? They rarely made mistakes. And listen, as hitters, we hunt mistakes. And when you get a mistake, you got to capitalize on it. And we did a couple times with that 3-run bomb in game 1. Teoscar Hernandez got a pitch up in the zone, drove it for a 3-run homer. Kike Hernandez, when he got a mistake a couple times, he took advantage of it. So, but all in all, I expect the Dodgers' approach to be a little better moving forward. They're not going to be running into just 3 left-handed studs.
Monsters.
I mean, absolute studs. So I think that in itself would give them more confidence. And I think these next couple days, it allows them to kind of press the reset button and really kind of figure out what they want to do offensively, whether it's Freddie Freeman making an adjustment. You talked about Shohei Ohtani. I think he needs to keep that front shoulder square a little bit longer to allow his hands to work like they did all season long. But collectively, I expect them to take a better approach. And I really have a feeling a guy like Max Muncy, who didn't really get a whole lot of starts because he was coming off injury and there was a lot of left-handed starters. I think Max Muncy could have a big series against this Brewers team.
He showed up against the Phillies. Go ahead, Jayhay.
Sorry, I just want to follow up there because we were talking about Ohtani for a second and his struggles. Jerry, I don't know if you saw this, but MLB Network had a great statistical breakdown on Ohtani's numbers versus left-handed pitchers with particular arm angles. And that the Phillies happened to feature a lot of those. He basically was the worst offensive player in baseball by arm angles below 38 degrees and the best hitter in baseball above that. Is that something like, if you're putting yourself in a hitter's perspective, Ohtani specifically, is that something that you're considering moving into the next round? Is that something that you can make any adjustment on at all in the moment? Or is that something that you're just kind of throwing in the trash because the Brewers aren't the Phillies and they don't present the same issue from the left side that the Phillies did?
That's a great question. MLB Network does an incredible job. Obviously Case does an incredible job, Mark DeRosa. And yes, there is a reason why the Phillies had success against Shohei Ohtani because of those arm angles. Now, listen, I've talked to left-handed hitters in the past. David Justice is a guy I talked to back in the day. What he would do, he would make sure that he'd slightly open up, but he'd make sure that he'd keep his front shoulder square as long as possible because their natural inclination from lefty and lefty, which they rarely see, lefties, is to fly open. And when you fly open as a hitter, Dallas, you know this, man. You see a hitter flying open, that's basically easy pickings because you run out of bat. You can't keep the bat in the zone long enough. And then now pitchers can exploit that. So I think when he was seeing those tough arm angles, he was having a hard time picking the baseball. And then when he did, he was chasing pitches out of zone because his shoulder was flying open and he was running out of bat. So the Brewers, I think they have one guy out of that bullpen who may throw around those angles, but nothing like he saw against the Phillies. So that's a positive thing if you're Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. So listen, you give credit to the Phillies staff. They exploited some of our weaknesses, and sometimes you got to tip your cap. But like I said earlier, I have a feeling our guys are going to make their adjustments heading into the next round. Because listen, if they don't, they understand the Brewers are the number one seed for a reason. They play great baseball. They play together. They pitch well. They have an incredible defense as well. So you got to play your A game against this tough Brewers team.
Yeah, I think when we talk about these two teams stacking up against each other, I guess let's go from both ends of the spectrum here. What do you think the Dodgers' greatest advantage is over this Brewers team, and what do you think their greatest disadvantage will be in a 7-game series? Because it's different, right? Like if we're talking about matchups in the wild card and in the division series, a weakness may not have time to rear its head, but in a 7-game series, what do you think that weakness will be?
I think to really, let's talk about the Dodgers' strength. I think they're the defending champions. They've been in this spot before. They're not going to get rattled in hostile environments. They won a championship in New York last year at Yankee Stadium. They went to Philadelphia and won 2 games in an incredible environment. Always tough to play there. So I think their experience over a long series should benefit them. Also, their starting pitching. The Dodgers starting pitching is elite. And I think it needs to be elite against this very good Brewers lineup that puts the ball in play. They have speed and they can score in a variety of ways. I think on the flip side for the Brewers, their advantage, if they can knock out their starters, as far as, get the Dodgers starters go 4 or 5 innings, then they can attack that bullpen. I think that is going to be the biggest difference. Brewers, Dodgers. If the Dodgers starting pitching give us 6, 7 strong innings each and every game, they can kind of mix and match their bullpen and have Roki Sasaki in the 9th inning. But if they attack the starters and knock them out, and then now you have to have test the durability and length of the Dodgers bullpen, that can hurt the Dodgers a little bit. So I think the biggest strength is the Dodgers starting pitching, and they have to pitch deep in the ballgame, especially in a long series like this.
All right, we interrupt this interview with Jerry Hairston Jr. to talk about the great folks over at Chubby's. The leaves are turning, the temps are dropping, and the weekend air is getting that nice autumn crisp. Just because the weather is changing doesn't mean you have to pack away the fun. Chubby's is here to make sure your fall wardrobe hits harder than a PSL on a slow Sunday morning with soft, stretchy, fall-ready staples built for maximum comfort and minimal effort. The Chubby's fall collection just dropped, and it's packed with cozy gear that brings the metaphorical and real heat. And there's a new comfort collection featuring the Everywhere Jogger. It's the perfect pant for impromptu naps, weekend errands, and everything in between. And we all agree, fall should be cozy, not constricting. And Chubby's delivers peak softness without sacrificing an ounce of style. So go ahead, break up with the stiff pants and embrace the fun side of fall. Comfy, casual, and built for life, the Chubby's original stretch shorts can live on your legs, available in long, short, and way short. They come with a relaxed fit, elastic waistband, and no fuss design. These are the kind of shorts that you'll forget that you're wearing until you get an onslaught of high fives and compliments. But let's be real, no ad is complete without a shout out to the classic lined swim trunks. They took everything annoying about old school swimsuits, like the scratchy mesh liner, and replaced it with a soft support boxer brief liner that keeps you dry, comfortable, and chafe-free with quick, dry fabric, 4-way stretch, and great prints that bring the heat. Whether you're jumping into the ocean, napping on a beach chair, or somewhere ending up with a rooftop bar, these trunks have your back and your thighs. And whether you're layering up for tailgates, lounging through lazy Sundays, or just leaning fully into fall comfort, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with the promo code BID at chubbiesshorts.com/BID. That is promo code BID at chubbiesshorts.com/BID. Please support the show and show your thighs some respect with Chubbies. And also, got to give a big shout out to Mando. Yeah, you guys already know the drill. You know that feeling. It's game day. You've been working hard all week. Your lucky jersey might be a little too smelly. It's a little too lucky. Let's be honest. Regular deodorant just doesn't cut it after a long day. Things can get pretty ripe. But there's a real game changer. Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control. This isn't just another cover-up. Mando is one stick, 2 jobs, powerful odor, and sweat control. It actually stops odor before it even starts. No more masking, just refreshness. And I love the smell of Mando. I get compliments on my Mando all the time. Like, whoa, is that like a cologne? No. Nope. It's just the deodorant. One swipe and you're good to go. This isn't your typical deodorant. It's clinical strength, 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls both sweat and odor for 72 hours, and after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%. This stuff works. It doesn't just mask odor, it prevents it. 100% study participants experience all-day odor protection. Unlike other deodorants loaded with chemicals, Mando only uses premium ingredients like gentle mandelic acid to keep you fresh and dry, tackles both sweat and odor. Mando's new deodorant, plus sweat control solid stick, gives you double the protection you need. No more worrying about sweat stains or those embarrassing pit rings. Just all-day freshness and dryness. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. That is obviously BID at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support BID. Tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and say hello to long-lasting freshness. Now back to the interview with Jayhay Hairston Jr.
All right, Jay, give me your pick to click, man. Give me your pick to click. You've identified Max Muncy as a guy who could, I think, show up and help. And I think I agree with that because we talked about the left-handed matchups. With that being said, I mean, there are 4 lefties down there in that Milwaukee Brewer bullpen that could provide problems, could present problems, especially 2 of them in Gasser and Koenig, who we talk about arm angles. Those are the 2 who are below that 38-degree line of demarcation to eat up Shohei Ohtani. So who's the pick to click?
Now, I mentioned Max Muncy. I think he's going to have a good series. I already talked about Mookie Betts. I think Mookie Betts is really having an incredible second half of the season. In the last 2 months, he's swinging the bat extremely well. I think he has a great series as well. I think Freddie Freeman, man. Listen, I think Shohei Ohtani is going to bounce back too. I think he has a really good series against the Brewers. Freddie Freeman has been quiet, too quiet. I have a feeling Freddie Freeman will make his adjustments and have a big series for the Dodgers. He's just too good of a hitter, too experienced of a hitter, and he's one of the best bat-to-ball skills I've ever seen out of a baseball player. I think Freddie Freeman has a big series against the Brewers.
I'm going to switch gears for a second, away from postseason talk. Clayton Kershaw announced that this will be his last season. Did you know like before everyone else knew, or even before you were informed? Could you just tell like he's going about his business in a different way? Because I think I didn't really, maybe I missed 2 like Clayton Kershaw starts this year. Like I would be disappointed if I were a Dodger fan and he like announced at the end and it's like, oh man, I wasn't as locked in as I could have been. But at the beginning of the year, I kind of just had a sense we could be watching his last season. So I was locked in when he was making his starts. Did you have a sense for it in spring? Like when did you realize, or did you find out with everybody else?
Well, I go into the clubhouse every once in a while. When the team's at home, we do our pre and post from the stadium. And I go into Alex Torres. He's the head clubhouse guy for the Dodgers. I just go in his office and sit there. So players come in and out. They have something to say. They let me know what's going on a little bit. So they give me some information. And anything that they want me to say, I'll say, in the pregame or postgame. And I see Clayton Kershaw all the time. We're on the same text chain with a lot of teammates, Michael Young, Skip Schumacher, Nick Punto, AJ Ellis, Mark Ellis, a lot of guys that we played with the 2013 team. So with Clayton Kershaw, we've played together. I've known him for years. This is the first year I've seen Clayton Kershaw really take it all in, take everything in. And I had a sense that he was going to retire this year, or this was going to be his last year, probably in mid-July. Just talking to him, I go, man, Clayton hasn't talked like that before. The way he's talking. And, I talked a little bit about my last year playing in 13. We were teammates and him talking the same thing, making sure his son's always around, enjoying this season. So I go to John Hartong, who's our point guard on our show, pre and post, who does an incredible job. I told John Hartong, this is Clayton Kershaw's last year. Don't tell anybody. He didn't tell me that, but I kind of sense it. This is Kershaw's last year. Kershaw doesn't talk like that. Kershaw's laser focused. Not that he wasn't focused, but he's laser focused on his starts. But the other 4 days, 5 days, he's really taking it all in. So I had a sense that this was going to be his last season. So when he announced it, I was happy that he did. And Jerry, that's a great point. Him announcing it now allows everybody to kind of enjoy it. And I really believe the Dodgers are kind of like, oh yeah, going through the motions. We're going to get to the postseason. We're going to put our best foot forward. But as soon as he made that announcement, the sense of urgency in that clubhouse changed. It changed, man. These guys said, hey, we got to win this. We got to win this for Kershaw. Have to. And it really galvanized the troops, man. I could sense it. I'm in there just about every day when they're at home. And I could just see it. The sense is, hey, let's get this done. We got to make sure we get Kershaw another ring and make him have that proper send-off. So I hope they do that, because it'd be so cool and a poetic ending for an incredible career.
I mean, you mentioned, watching him closely behind the scenes and everything. Is there someone, if not the whole group or just one individual, that you get the sense that he's passing the torch to? Like, I mean, as a Hall of Famer, first ballot, lifelong Dodger, I mean, I don't think that there's any arms in there. They're going to be lifelong Dodgers. Maybe Yamamoto. But I'm obviously thinking Blake Snell with being a lefty and all. Like, is there anyone that you've noticed him kind of taking under his wing more so than anyone else, is almost like a passing of the torch type deal?
You know what? It's been so cool to see, the last, few years. There's so many great leaders in that clubhouse. And there's not one guy that says, okay, I'm that leader. Because there's a lot of quiet guys in there. And when things need to be said, they say it. Like Freddie Freeman is not a huge talker. Mookie Betts isn't a huge talker. But when things need to be said, they're said. So Kersh is not necessarily passing the torch. I was a teammate of Clayton Kershaw. Clayton wasn't the biggest talker. He wasn't the biggest rah-rah guy. Now, if something needed to be said, he'll say it. So as far as passing the torch, I think it's going to be a collective thing. So Clayton Kershaw knows he's leaving this team in great hands because there's a group of leaders. Miguel Rojas is a leader. Your best players aren't necessarily the most guys that are the leaders. Usually it's the guys that maybe, on the bench, the veteran guy like a Miguel Rojas, who is that vocal leader when it needs to be. But it's a collective group. Freddie, Mookie, show by his play. and Yamamoto buys play, and then Blake Snell as well. So there's a collective group that are the leaders. So trust me, there's so much leadership in that clubhouse, and they're a tight knit group.
Yeah, I kind of got cheesy when I was talking about during his last start when Shohei Ohtani hits the homer to get him off the hook, and it's kind of like, hey, I got your back, brother. Like you ain't going out like that, and it's almost like like I said, maybe not a passing of the torch, but just a thank you for everything you've done, man. We've got your back today, and I've got your back from here on out in Dodger blue.
It is, and you know what? It's so refreshing to see superstars, and they are superstars, but they're so focused on the team, and you have some superstars, in other sports, I'm sure, and even in our sport that are a little bit selfish. It's more about their stats, and I got my hits, I got my stats, whatever. Oh, we won or lost, that they don't really care. It's not like that here, guys. It's not. These guys care about winning, because when they win, everybody will get their shot. Okay. And they're so focused on winning. And it's so cool to see, man. And I'm really happy that this group is like that. They all pull for each other, and they all want to win.
I was in the Dodger clubhouse in spring training, and I just had a moment looking around that room at all the nameplates, being like, holy shit, dude. Like just when you think that, you've completed a side of the room and read all of those names, and you're like, wow. Then you look on the complete opposite side of the room, and it just keeps going. Like, it just keeps going. Are you numb to that, being around the team every day, or is it still cool to you where you're like there are Cy Youngs and MVPs everywhere? Like, no other team in baseball can stand in the middle of their clubhouse, look around at the nameplates, and have that same realization.
Listen, I am not numb to that. I'm very much aware that the Dodgers are extremely talented. But when you enter that clubhouse, they have that check your ego at the door. I remember when I was on the 2009 Yankees, I came in, I was traded at the deadline. I walked in that clubhouse. Mariano Rivera was the first guy I saw. And he came up to me and he said, "Hey, welcome home." And that kind of shocked me. And I saw that group led by Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, CC Sabathia, Alex Rodriguez, Posada, Mark Teixeira, Robinson Cano, so many superstars in that clubhouse. And all I noticed was all they want to do is win. That is the mission. Alex Rodriguez was chasing his first ring. Derek was chasing legacy. He wanted rings, as many rings as possible. All they cared about was winning, no exception. And it was so cool to be a guy who comes in mid-season and instantly see that. Johnny Damon, all he cared about was winning, man. That was his focus. What can I do tonight to help this team win? It was so cool to see superstars think like that. Fast forward now, I'm seeing it from the outside looking in. It's the same thing. Mookie Betts talks about rings. He wants to catch Derek Jeter, with rings. That's his mission. Shohei Ohtani knows, if I win all this home runs and pitching two-way player like Babe Ruth back in the day, but if I win rings like Babe Ruth, I could be that type of guy. But in order to do that, I got to win championships. Freddie Freeman, same thing. So it's so similar seeing what I saw with the Yankees, now seeing it here with the Dodgers. They want to have that type of legacy. So yes, the nameplates are cool. Yes, they're great players individually, but they know this is not basketball. We can throw out, three superstars that are going to win, because they got three guys that can do it. Baseball, it's 162 games. It's a grind. You need 30, 35 guys on a 26-man roster the whole season to help you get to the World Series and obviously win. So it's a collective effort, and they understand that. All the stars are great, but you better be able to play together. And like I said earlier, the Brewers play great team baseball. They got some stars there too, but you got to play great baseball to beat those type of teams.
I appreciate you bringing up the fact that, that transition you made in 2009, walking into that clubhouse and being greeted by Mo, because I think ultimately you play for the respect of your teammates, you play for the respect of your peers, and have somebody like that at what I think we can safely call nut crunching time come over to you and say, "Hey, welcome. Now we roll." you were identified. You were identified as somebody that could help in one way or another. You were somebody that could help move that train along. And with the work you do outside of baseball, meaning outside of pre and post with the Dodgers, you are still very much sleeves rolled up, hands on, hands in the game. Culture 39, you now have an opportunity to sort of steward young athletes on their journey into pro ball, through professional ranks to the big leagues. What has that been like, my dude? Because I know how much fun I have chopping it up with you at the yard. You and I and your son last year talk. I mean, the passion is there. I don't think anybody has that question when it comes to you and your drive and love for the game. But what has that been like to sort of take this role on and be a part of that?
I love it. Just being around the game, from obviously the media side, and also being behind the scenes. Culture 39 is something I own with my cousin Charles. Charles Hairston is the agent. He does an incredible job. We got a couple major league players, a couple college players, minor league players as well. We've dipped our hands in the NIL space. We have a kid by the name of Blaine Brown. He's at Tennessee, stud two-way player. You're going to hear about him. 6'6" lefty, kind of reminds me of Sanchez from the left side, throws 97, 98 miles an hour, and has Darryl Strawberry type swing from the left side. You'll hear about him. He's at Tennessee. Trust me, you're going to hear about him. His dad he was a running back for the Tennessee Titans back in the day. And his mother was an incredible athlete in her own right. So this kid has some bloodlines. My nephew, Landon Hairston, is at ASU. He had an incredible freshman season. He was a freshman All-American. He'll be heading into the sophomore season. So just being around, college athletes, pro athletes, big leaguers in our group. We have other agents in our group as well, part of Culture 39. They do an incredible job. But for my part, just kind of not only overseeing it, but I like to get my hands dirty too. We just had a kid, from the Orioles organization that we represent, DJ Layton, switch hitter. He came last week. I was working with him with his swing, just changing his swing. My son Jackson was here. He's in college as well, working with those two guys. I get so much joy doing that, helping the young kids. You can see them kind of turn that light bulb on. Oh my God, I never knew that. Mm-hmm. And trying to take what I've learned from Alex Rodriguez, Sammy Sosa, Derek Jeter, Albert Bell, Cal Ripken Jr., Brady Anderson, the players that I played with, and watching them over the years, Michael Young, and then helping the players that I have, so that's been awesome. Just being a part of that and seeing these guys grow and become, big leaguers, excel at the college level, excel at pro ball. Luke Hill, another guy with the Guardians, had an incredible year at Ole Miss, and then now his first year with the Guardians. He's a stud as well. So it's been cool seeing these guys develop and really starting to hit their stride.
Love it. Love that you're passing the game along, man. Always good to see.
All right. Do we get an official series prediction from Jayhay Hairston? I don't think we did.
Oh, I wonder. Curious.
Yeah, official series prediction.
I have the Dodgers in 6. I just think that, listen, the Brewers are a great team. What's amazing? The Brewers went 6-0 against the Dodgers. They dominated the Dodgers this year in the regular season. They're a great team. Pat Murphy, who I've always loved. Pat Murphy recruited me to go to Notre Dame my junior year in high school. Then my senior year in high school, he goes to ASU. I hit up Pat Murphy. Hey, I want to come to ASU. He goes, oh, we already got a shortstop. Bro, he ain't me, bro. He's not me. Mike Hill's Mike's our shortstop. Okay, all right. So I always give Pat Murphy crap about that, but Pat's done an incredible job with the Brewers. They're a great team, great fan base. Not a good fan base. The Brewer fan base is incredible. That place gets loud. I loved playing for them in 2011. One of the greatest memories I've had as a player. But I just feel the Dodgers starting staff is going to do enough to negate that really good Brewers lineup. I got the Dodgers in 6.
Okay. That's the official pick. The pick is in. Jayhay Hairston Jr., thank you so much for taking the time. I'm sorry again that it's been so long. Next time, let's not go so far in between appearances.
I know you guys got a lot of people want to be on your show, rightfully so. You guys continue pushing the game, man. I love what you guys do.
Thank you very much. Well, you're our
Appreciate
Dodger
you, brother.
guy, so there's no excuse. I'm taking full accountability on that one. So it'll be very soon. Next time, if the Dodgers go to the World Series, we'll talk to Jerry Hairston then. Big thank you to Jayhay Hairston Jr. for making time. Come on, BID.
The real Jayhay, some say. Is that right? Is that what they're saying?
What did he say?
The real Jayhay?
You got
Is
to,
that-
after we're done with
Oh,
this,
wow.
you're going to see me in about 6 hours, buddy. So you just be careful. You're not going to see Jayhay Hairston for another 4 years.
That's true. That's very true.
No, I see him every year. Jared's the asshole who doesn't write, doesn't
That's
keep
true.
up with people. Dick.
That's not true. It might be. But you know what else is true? Is that Harry's makes the best razors. Hand up. With Harry's razors, I kind of just was stuck in my ways before. Like I got like the store brand. I was just used to it. First of all, I was just poor. And I was like, all right, this is the best option for me as a college student. But now as an adult, I had no excuse to not go with quality. I had no excuse not to go with one of the top of the line, if not the top of the line product. So that's why I switched to Harry's. And thank God for Harry's, because I'm also very forgetful when it comes to being able to like go out to the local store, pick up some new razors. Like, no. Let's get that sent to my door so I don't have to worry about it. Just plug and play with Harry's. With Harry's Plus, you get barbershop quality shave with German engineered blades. Each blade is honed at 3 different angles to cut hair cleanly at the root without tugging. Blade spacing is optimized to glide smoothly and avoid clogging. Drugstore blades clog so fast. Trust me, I know that. Every cartridge includes a lubricating strip with aloe and vitamin E to calm skin while you shave. And the best part about Harry's Plus is how affordable it is. Harry's owns their world-class blade factory in Germany, so there's no outsourcing, no middleman. That same facility has been perfecting blade making for over 100 years because they control the entire process from steel to shelf. They keep costs low. Why pay $30 for refills when Harry's gives you a better blade for a fraction of the cost? Harry's has launched their most advanced razor ever, and it's still cheaper than Gillette Fusion 5. If you don't love your shave, Harry's will make it right. No questions asked. Risk-free trials means there's zero downside to giving it a shot. And Harry's Plus is Harry's heaviest razor handle ever, made from metal, never plastic, designed to fit comfortably in your hand. Heavier handle means more control and a luxurious feel. Harry's doesn't just make razors. They've got a full line of grooming essentials from shave gel to deodorant to body wash, all thoroughly made and priced to stock up. All of Harry's blades and grooming products can be delivered right to your door. Like I said, set preferred schedule and never run out of blades ever again. And for a limited time, BID listeners can get Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/BID. This set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor plus one refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just go to harrys.com/BID to claim this offer. And after your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Baseball is Dead and tell them that we sent you. Shout out to Harry's. All right. After that talk with Jayhay Hairston Jr., are any of you guys lulled? Did any of you guys fall under his spell? Are any of you guys going to be picking the Dodgers? Shall we discuss ourselves first?
Yeah, I think it's fair to discuss ourselves first before.
Yeah, let's have a little discussion
fall
about
under the
this series.
hypnosis. Because I think Jerry made great points, as he typically does, about how the Dodgers can go about it, what they have lined up. He talked a lot about, and I think obviously we will talk a lot about the starting pitching and what that can do for the Dodgers. Also the fact that, and it's something that we have touched on a lot throughout the division series because it's something that has mattered, and that is the emergence of Roki Sasaki in his late inning leverage role and what that can mean for the Dodgers moving forward. the offense is something that we highlighted a litany of left-handers that subdued Shohei Ohtani for the better part of the division series to the tune of a 1-for-18 performance. Do the Brewers have that? Maybe I don't even know if it's fair to call it a poor man's version. I think maybe just a different version of that in different roles, maybe not to quite the extent that the Phillies did. That remains to be seen. It feels like this is a lineup where, buddy, if they have flipped the switch today and we walk into the room tomorrow to the illumination of the full raring to go lineup of the Los Angeles Dodgers, like there's nobody that can block out that sun. There's nobody that can block out that shine. And I think that's what makes it a chalk pick, but I think it makes it one that I have confidence in going with the Dodgers. But there's a lot to like about what the Brewers bring to the table in this series. And I think that is something that you simply cannot overlook when you think about what the offense has done and what Chourio has meant to the offense between Chourio and Contreras, and old fucking Von Jovi. Like
Von Jovi.
It's a group that has said, no, we will not go quietly into this league championship night like many of you think we will against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So kind of like I did in the other couple teams, I want to give you what the Brewers look like as two different groups with Chourio, Contreras, Vaughn combined again in the division series. 327 average, 386 on base, 673 slug, good for a 1059 OPS. Some power there, obviously. 5 homers. 5 homers, 11 runs scored between the trio, 13 RBI. Everybody else, 213, 301 on base, just a 306 slug, good for a 607 OPS. So where does the remainder of the offense come from, right? Guys like Sal Frelick and company. 30 innings, 1.20 ERA from their bullpen. Chad Patrick dialed 4.2 innings, did not allow an earned run. 6 punches over 4 games, 0 hits. Uribe, 3 innings, just dominant. Did not allow a hit, did not allow a run. And again, that was against that's going against what could be a very dismal Dodger offense on the other side of that coin. Or
by the way, offense. My breakout name for the postseason, Von Jovi, 1126 OPS so far this postseason. After homering in a do or die game 5, he's doing pretty well. He's slugging 714 in the playoffs. He's got the highest OPS of anybody in the NLCS that's played so far. So just want to give him a little bit of a shout out for his performance, not just in game 5, but all postseason.
What's he hitting, Jared?
He's hitting 286 with an 1126 OPS.
Breaking.
Yeah.
Breaking.
714 slug.
When we were having that conversation, like I really, truly, I wanted to see Nico. That's why I wanted to see the Cubs, man, because I wanted to see, he was fucking swinging it. He was having a great run.
Brewers starters in this postseason. It's weird because, I mean, you're going to have openers looped into this, but Brewers starters in the postseason, it's not been great. 5 starts, 13 innings, averaging 2 2/3 innings per start. But like, we are talking about openers here, but it is 13 hits in those 13 innings, 12 earned runs in those 13 innings. So that's an 8.31 ERA. It's a 7.47 FIP and a 1.69 WHIP.
And I'm glad you took us there, because that to me is what I have a hard time getting through mentally when thinking about this series. Is there's a big part of me that wants to take the Brewers. I want to try and find a way to take the Brewers. And then I just get back to this idea. I'm like, how is this pitching staff going to navigate potentially 7 games, 4 of which you definitely need to win, to get through this Dodgers lineup? And I think they were able to do that in 5 games. But I just don't really see it as likely in a series of this length. And the Dodgers offense, as was illuminated earlier in the podcast, basically could not have been worse, and they beat the Phillies. And to me, they are inevitably going to be better. And so if you combine kind of all of that, it just makes it very difficult. And I know you're saying, yeah, openers are in there. It skews the numbers. I think it skews the numbers fairly because that's going to have to be part of the recipe moving forward too. And it's just kind of built into how this is going to have to work for the Brewers. And at the end of the day, I just don't see that working in this series.
No. Jay, you want to talk about an offense overwhelming a group. Like, that's why I said if the Dodgers just happen to have flipped the switch, buddy, that's not going to get it done. That is just not going to get it done. Freddie Peralta, I mean, it was, and that's the thing is you say that there's the openers that are lumped in there. Well, Jared, those openers are inherently a part of what? The bullpen. So we're going to see those guys either in the opening role or we're going to see those guys in what are leveraged scenarios from here on out. It's the fucking championship series. Every out's important. So I don't know how they get through these games. Like, who do you match up? Snell, Peralta, Yamamoto, who?
Well, do you want the answer to that question?
You know what I mean?
So the Brewers bullpen in this postseason, again, we're talking about the starters who have thrown 13 innings. The Brewers bullpen has thrown 30 innings. And would you like to take a guess what their ERA is, Dallas?
Well, I went over it.
Yeah, it's 120. Yes.
Yeah, I told you.
With
3.0, 30 innings, 1.20 ERA. They got a 3.1 K to walk. Their opponents are hitting 176. Yeah, like I'm well aware of what that bullpen has done. Well aware.
So when we talk about like the starters maybe not holding their weight, I think we could talk about, all right, well, they're not in there for very long. Fine. Like if they're in there and they suck for an inning or two, then you're going to the Brewers bullpen that just
this is where exposure matters, and this is where exposure at certain parts of the lineup matter, because what you don't get to throw away now is the idea of certain guys seeing certain individuals and having success against them and then repeating that success over a short period of time, over a week, right? If you have 2 guys, 3 guys that jump all over one individual out of the bullpen, and that was supposed to be his lane, that guy out of the bullpen, and he got crushed, well, what are you going to do next time around? You're going to overlook him and go to somebody else who is a lesser option because the best option got crushed? Well, no. But what if you saw that guy in game 1 and then you see him again in game 2? And then, okay, so you don't see him again until game 4. Well, it's game 4. Good chance that game means something if you're the Brewers. You're going to have to win this fucking thing. So overexposure early on, something, again, against a lineup like the Dodgers, I'm not signing up for that.
Well, and Jason Stark had the nugget last night that these teams played 6 times during the regular season. Brewers won all 6 games.
All of them.
And those were clustered around, all of those games happened in July, to be fair. So it's a little concentrated, but that is, I mean, that to me is a great little wrinkle, because you've got a team that's, kind of cosplaying as an underdog, but has actually taken the defending champions out to the woodshed 6 times this season, and finished the regular season with the better record. So it's like, yeah, some people are going to cast you as the underdog. I think Vegas has the Dodgers as the favorite, but this other team's been the better team all season.
Yeah. You won more games than anybody in baseball. And like you said, Jayhay has absolutely bitch slapped you the 2 series you played this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the tone of this preview has been that the Brewers don't have a chance, but I don't subscribe to that. I don't.
I'll clarify then. It's not that I don't think that they have a chance. It's just when trying to identify that one thing that's a block for me picking either direction, it's that the starting rotation, I think, is going to ultimately not be enough for the Brewers. And I am respectful of their bullpen. All the numbers that have been laid out very well by both of you. Both of you guys did a great job there on the Brewers bullpen numbers. I just think that's going to be too much to ask of that group over what I anticipate is going to be a long series. And I think that's going to ultimately cost the Brewers in the end.
Yeah. I mean, Jared, just honestly ask yourself, if you're looking at the starting options that they rolled out there, that the Brewers rolled out there in the division, series,
mm-hmm.
If you're looking at those options, then you are automatically going, oh, so this is going to be about the bullpen the entire series. This is so we're going to get a Freddie Peralta start, and then from there, it's just question marks. You're telling me against the Dodgers, you're like,
the Dodgers who are not hitting. The Dodgers who are not hitting.
But remember, I hammered the Dodgers for not hitting. There's some rhyme to that reason, and the left-handers from Philly, they got something to do with that.
I hope Jose Quintana just comes out in this series and he's throwing like 5 degrees lower from the left side. Just like, well, fuck that's it, man. This is my last ride anyway. Let's just do this.
That's why I said the Koenig and Gasser, both of those guys. I think Koenig's at like 35 and Gasser's lower. But both of those guys have the arm angles, or Koenig might be 31. Either way, lower than that 38 degree that seemingly gives Ohtani fits. So, but remember, unless it's a perfect world, those guys are going to have to face other hitters outside of Shohei Ohtani. Not to say that Koenig hasn't been able to handle that responsibility. He had a career year. Fucking workhorse. Dude was absolutely dazzling for the Brew Crew. Dazzling. So, I mean, this could, like, that could be that right there. This could be, I don't know if you have coming out parties as a reliever, but for Jared Koenig, this could be hey, look what I just did this series. Every time we needed to shut down the MVP, you know whose phone they called? Mine. You know who got the job done? I did.
So in summary, I think you two sackless pussies are going with the Dodgers, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Dodgers.
And how many? Pick him in 4.
I'm going to take him in 5.
Wow.
You're muted, Jay. Hey, Dodgers in 7, though. I could read those lips.
Dodgers in 7.
Dodgers in 7. So then you might as well go Brewers if you're going to pick him at 7. That seems like a
because
like
that's when
move.
That's when my bullpen point is finally going to make hay, and the Brewers bullpen is going to falter in the biggest moment.
And I'm saying, Jared, the Dodgers have flipped that switch and they're going to eat fucking lunch over those first 5 games.
Yeah, so it's actually going to be the Brewers in 7.
It's cute.
Oh,
yes.
okay. That's a good pick.
I know.
It's definitely one of them.
It's going to be the Brewers in 7. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say anything negative about the Dodgers. They're fantastic. I understand, all the points that were made about the offense and why they didn't hit against Philly and the arm slots and yada yada. But I do think I do trust the Brewers bullpen. I do think that they can kind of sack up for a 7-game series. Whether or not that holds up to the World Series, I don't know. But I believe in my heart that the Brewers are prepared to go out on their sword. Is that what it's called?
Well, yeah. Go out on your shield.
Go out on your shield.
Yes.
Against the Dodgers. I think just getting there, like they're willing to give maximum effort just to get past them. Like that. Like it's kind of like the Red Sox in 2004, where the ALCS against the Yankees, like that was their World Series. Like by the time they got to the Cardinals in the World Series, they were like, whew, it's nice to have an easy one. Like I think if you're able to take down the Dodgers at this point of their dynasty that they're in the middle of, then the rest should be cake. No disrespect to anybody coming out of the American League. They should be respected, but it's the fucking Dodgers. And I do think that the Brewers have the offense and the firepower and the bullpen to get it done. It's not going to be easy. That's why I went 7. It's not going to be easy.
I think, interestingly enough, I think if you work your way, and I know it might sound crazy, but I think if you work your way around the diamond, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the Brewers stack up, comparatively speaking, position to position. I think a lot of folks just hear the Dodgers and are like, oh, so much better. And that's just not the case. That is just simply not the case.
Big three carrying a lot of water on that claim.
Yes, they are, Jayhay. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But there are a lot of diligent workers willing to carry a bucket in each hand for the Milwaukee Brewers. No, picks in, motherfucker. What you looking at?
I know. I was waiting for him to change it too.
And that's why. All right. Anything else you guys want to hit on? Any news and notes stuff? Cody Bellinger's opting out. Pujols is probably going to be managing the Angels, which is funny. Kyle Tucker, you're never going to believe this. He doesn't know if he's coming back to the Cubs. And Pete Alonso wants 7 years.
That's how you know it's October.
Oh, well, why? Because people are putting together their fucking Christmas wish list?
Yeah. Yeah. Any of those things you really need to opine on?
No.
Just that when Skip Schumacher was hired as the Rangers manager, he said something to the effect of, I finally linked up with a team that was serious about winning, essentially.
Yes. Yeah,
which
fuck
is
the
great.
Marlins. Yeah.
Yep, fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Skippy!
Right. Just the Nuts tonight, Sunday. I mean, every night, if you're a fan of Major League Baseball and you listen to this podcast, we are live streaming every single game. Jayhay's there, Dallas is there, the McMahon is there, Hosmer was there on, what was that, Friday night for the 15-inning epic, which, like, I'm sure people are like, I can't believe they didn't talk about that game. We did talk about it in real time on Just the Nuts. Like,
so much.
Yeah, like we couldn't have talked about it more. I understand that people are like, I only listen to the podcast. Well, then you should, if it sounds like you want more commentary from us, you can seek it out on playback, on YouTube, on Twitter, where we're live streaming every single game. But yeah, for as far as like the series prediction pods, like that can't be done on a live stream. So that's podcast material. But if you want reaction to these games in real time, we are doing that. We are doing that somewhere.
Don't be afraid to jump in the chat. Yeah, jump in the chat, ask questions, fire away. We are talking. Yep. We are communicable.
Yeah, we are responding to everyone in the chat pretty much.
For as long as I have two eyes open, I'm in for sure.
Yeah, Dallas's left eye was a little defunct in the 15-inning game. We need to do a factory reset for Game 5 in Milwaukee last night, but we got there. We got there. Yeah, I would say last night, the Cubs Brewers Game 5, we got a lot of people in the chat being like, all right, fine. Like, I'll check out the fucking stream. And then they ended up being like, this is sick. I can't believe I wasn't here the whole postseason. Don't be that guy. Come in now. Don't wait till the World Series. We're live streaming every single fucking game. What's your excuse? If you listen to the podcast and you want more content, we're giving you more content. But yeah.
And I'll say this much. For no other reason, if you're somebody who likes to tweet along with the games and stuff, check out the feed because we got the fastest feed going.
That's true.
We know we're actually a pitch ahead of the actual game. I can't explain that. Just know that that's a fact. So just turn your TV on. You're going to realize, fuck, these boys are so far ahead of us. Like, I don't want to watch that shit. I'd rather watch this. I'll be taking rally rips again. So yeah, we're going to have a good time.
That is a great point. Like, so for anyone that doesn't know what playback is, you log in with your MLB TV account and then you watch the same screen that we're watching. So it's not like the other live stream experiences where, you're watching your TV, but then you're watching us on a different screen. Everyone that's on the live stream is watching the same feed and you are watching the same feed with us so we can all react at the exact same time. So yeah, download the playback app. This is not an ad. It's just where we're doing it because it's the best platform to do this. You download the playback app, you log in with your MLB TV account, and then that makes you watch the game with us. Like, it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So hope to see you there. Very excited for these LCS matchups. And I don't know, we'll probably do another podcast midweek at some point. Yeah, we definitely won't wait until the end of the LCSs, but we'll put out something mid-series.
I think it's Wednesday tentatively, right? Because we might have a special guest.
Yeah, we'll see. Jayhay, final thoughts? Or you have any nugs, Jayhay?
Yeah, just I'll shout out to the people who are not catching the live streams. I don't want to leave them with no nugs. So just a couple of things on that Tigers-Mariners game. Skubal is the third pitcher in postseason history with multiple career games with 13 or more strikeouts, joining Bob Gibson and Garrett Cole. He's also the third pitcher ever with 13 or more strikeouts and 0 walks in a single postseason start, joining Cole and Tom Seaver in 1973. Skubal's 36 strikeouts over his 3 postseason starts this year are the most strikeouts over any 3-start span in a single postseason history. Previously, that was Bob Gibson with 35 in 1968. Additionally, Jorge Polanco's walk-off hit in the 15th inning is the latest walk-off hit in a winner-take-all postseason game in Major League Baseball history. And lastly, William Contreras is the third catcher with a first-inning homer in a winner-take-all postseason game, joining Yogi Berra and Yasmani Grandal, making 2 of those 3 be Brewers players. And then, not so much a nug, but one thing I wanted to note, the 4 teams in the LCS this season ranked 1st, 5th, 15th, and 21st in payroll. So that to me seems like, this will be my final thought as well, that to me seems like pretty much a perfect mix for a sport if what you're going for is a combination of you must invest in your team to have a good chance of being good, but also not so chalk that that is the only pathway towards being a successful team. So I'm very pleased for a lot of reasons for the LCS matchups, but that's just one more. And those are my final thoughts.
Dallas, you got any final thoughts today?
No, I do not.
All right. We'll see everyone in the chat tonight for Just the Nuts.
Wow.